Welcome everybody to this latest installation of CIS Roundtable, a gathering of various members of our community to talk about a topic of particular relevance and interest to us all. This month we will be broaching the subject of gender equity in honor of International Women's Day.
I'm Cindy Gao, I'm a parent. I have two daughters now in primary school, year 6 and year 3.
Hey, my name is Diya, I'm from year 5. I'm part of a STED Alliance, which is Student Alliance in Inclusion and Diversity.
I'm Steph, class of 2015, so it's been a while, but very happy to be back for this roundtable discussion.
Hi, I'm Sherry. I'm from year 12, and I'm currently the leader of a service group called Girl Code.
Hello, my name is Keeman, and I'm one of the teachers at the school. I'm also the Extended Essay Coordinator, and I do a lot of work with the Student Alliance of Inclusivity and Diversity, and I do a lot of work for the International Women's Day Committee.
Yeah, hi, I'm Adele. I'm in year 12. I've also been helping out coordinating the efforts of students in the International Women's Committee, and I also founded Girl Talk.
My name is Uttam. I am the Director of Whole School Service Learning. I work with many people around this table on International Women's Day.
What is International Women's Day? Why should we be talking about it in a school setting?
International Women's Day, for me, is very much about choices that women have, opportunities that women have, and the rights that women have. And because a lot of women in the world don't have the choices, the opportunities, and the rights, we have to keep creating awareness and educating people about this.
Our hope is that we are continuing to have these conversations, as Kitty said, throughout the year and embedded in our curriculum. And so we are really kind of touching upon the issues that women, that girls of today are facing, but also educating our boys on how to be better allies. What does allyship mean? What does it mean to be a good friend, a good brother, a good father?
We've developed a program that actually preceded March 8th and actually is continuing throughout the course of the whole month. We could almost talk about International Women's Month. Could you share a little bit more about what we've done and what we're looking forward to doing still in the next couple of weeks?
CodeHers invited, I think, 300 plus girls from all around Hong Kong to come to our campus and just learn about technology and, give them this opportunity to join this technology field. It was a collaboration between 9 different schools, but we also included other schools. I think we had 25 workshops in total, and it was hosted by different people. So that includes people from HKU, HKUST. We also had one of our own teachers, Miss Mameni, teaching one of the workshops. We had many students who were hosting their own workshop, and it was just and we had exhibitions throughout the day. There was lunch, and then at the end we had a guest speaker panel. We invited anyone from, I think, secondary school, so 11 years old to 18, and we had a lot of middle school children join, and I thought that was really interesting because when I was in middle school, I did not dare to join these type of events. There's this huge stigma for, I think, a lot of females, and I included, that it's really difficult to enter the technology field or even just STEM in general because you feel like you can't do it when every other person in the field is men. And so I think it's a great opportunity to see many of their peers there and be able to learn from each other and just know that they're not alone.
With the International Women's Council, one of the things we've done for primary side was put together a video series on the women of history relating to the different subject councils. Like Ms. Keeman said, not everyone's on equal footing, and it's about making that understandable to people who might not be able to learn all these complex terms but should be aware nonetheless. We've also invited a guest speaker that was just yesterday during Flexi. Her name is Nargis. She was able to come deliver a speech about her journey being a girl in Afghanistan and coming to Hong Kong to pursue education. But all of these very complex, very serious things being brought to attention in a way that's digestible to high school students. That's been the bulk of our efforts.
On behalf of CISPITA, I'm on the speakers committee, so we invited speakers throughout the year. But this time, to celebrate this International Women's Day, we invited very successful female leaders in the film industry in Greater China, in Hong Kong, in Taiwan and China, in mainland China. Ms. Silva Zhang to share with us her experience or her views on all the potentials that we may have and all the unavoidable challenges that women need to face. It's a very enjoyable conversation. We have more than 220 parents sign up, and then it's a full house. It's in Mandarin, it's in Chinese, but it's very, very popular, and people stay behind to had a talk with her, ask questions.
What are the issues in the world that we believe that our students should be learning about?
There are just some really key moments of women's history that I think if I knew back then, I would have been able to answer what it meant to be a girl in today's world in a much more concise way. Off the top of my head, things like the women's suffrage movement and the Seneca Falls Convention, the 4 waves of feminism, things like how the women's place in society as, vessels of reproduction in Victorian times have kind of trickled down into like legislation today. Not necessarily the current issues, those are obviously important to learn, but the root causes so people understand why the world is the way that it is. And I think if we did that, whether in INSO class or even in special assemblies, there would be 2 effects. Firstly, I think for girls even as young as Diya, you'd have a better understanding of why certain things are the way that they are, and if someone asks you, why are you so sensitive, or why do you care so much about this issue, you can say, well, actually, it's deeply entrenched in history. You can't really force people to have opinions, but what I've noticed is that a lot of opinions aren't based on fact. Some people have preconceived notions about what the feminist movement means from social media. So it gives boys, everyone, a chance to base opinions off of fact, and hopefully, I don't want to say they will have more correct opinions, but they might be more aware of the way things are.
One of the most difficult things when we talk about a gender equality world, I would say, is to break the stereotypes that's often been associated with women. It happens everywhere, at school, at work, at racing course, everywhere. And we have to understand that stereotypes are often just a product of social psychology. It's been created. It's against changes and evolution. It's resistant to it. So living in a new era like now, we should learn, and our students should learn how to see through those stereotypes and see the true self. And we should learn how to respect the differences resulted from that, and because that's the only reason why we don't feel like we live in a robot world, right? We are all different, we're all unique, and that's the thing we should really appreciate.
If we look around ourselves in Hong Kong in particular, do you feel like these questions are manifesting themselves in the day-to-day lives of the people you see around us and the people that you know who are in Hong Kong?
I work in the field of mental health, and I work a lot with young people and talk about body image issues. I was just thinking about the ways that we expect, let's say, eating disorders to look a certain way, or for a certain group of people to be more likely to suffer from eating disorders. And typically that is, female. Or we expect that women are more likely to experience eating disorders because that's a common narrative within the research, within media. And I was just thinking about how male representation is very low within the body image literature, within the eating disorder literature, and that means that when gender equality and representation, it goes like when we start to notice male experiences, and we also shed light and allow female experiences to, it provides benefits for both sides when we spotlight the experiences of marginalized populations.
Famous saying by an Aboriginal group in Queenstown, and they said, if you are coming to help me, then you are wasting your time. But if your liberation is bound with mine, then let's spend time together, right? So when we think about the patriarchy, right? I have a son, right? And I have a daughter. I don't want men to be working for these issues because of the woman in their lives. We do this work because all of our liberation is bound in it.
What are your thoughts about our ability to be advancing the cause of gender equality and equity at CIS? Do you feel like we're on the right track?
I think we have attained gender equity because from sports to the classroom to specialists to after school classes, because after school classes in sports there's a boys football team, but then there's also a girls football team. So in general stuff at CIS, I think we have attained gender equity. I think it's really nice to see that my teacher is like a role model, like a female role model, and it's just heartwarming.
I hope I can take this time to talk a bit about Girl Talk.
Please do.
But one of the things that we do is we provide a support system to girls in lower years. There are certain things like dealing with body image that girls do have to face. Not saying that guys don't, but the way that society conditions us to think comes with a lot of certain struggles that we kind of face together. Things like getting our first period, not knowing what to do. We're lucky enough that we have pads in the bathroom now, but I remember when my friends were getting their periods, it was a frenzy. And I think although there isn't a gender divide, there are a lot of struggles that girls have to go through pretty silently. Not really having friends to talk to sometimes. Our CCA operates every Wednesday. A lot of the time we have girls come in because they don't want to spend their lunchtime with their friend group for whatever reason. And we have a curriculum. It covers a ton of topics such as what to do when you get your first period, the honestly like beauty trends over the decades, the 4 waves of feminism as I was talking about. And Girl Talk's lucky enough that we've got 60 members globally. We have a chapter in Shanghai and one in Korea. And the entire focus of everything that we do is making sure that when girls face these battles in life, they have people who they can turn to, and they've also built a good enough foundation for themselves that they can deal with these things on their own.
I want to be concrete about like what objectives we might put forward for the CIS community. If you had one, what would it be?
One thing I noticed in the notices was the Dragon Mats team that we put forward was 7 boys and two girls, right? And so I emailed the people at B to say, how was this decision come to? Is there a test? Is it the highest scores? How did people put their name forward, right? And very often it is people who just say, oh, I'll do it, right? And very often it's the boys who are advocating for themselves, right? So understanding that this is where we're at, I want to see faculty members be really cognizant about how they're choosing teams and what we're putting forward and the opportunities that we are giving to girls, because we understand that they have not had the opportunity or the training or the experience to say, I'll do this, without, as you kept saying, the courage. I think it goes beyond courage. I think it's just they haven't gotten enough female role models.
So one objective that I would like to see, because a lot of boys don't really like doing dance or gymnastics or ballet. I think it would be really nice to see the boys start to do these things, because I think they think that these things are for girls, but they're not specifically for girls.
Yeah. I have a sister in year 3. So in 5 years she'll probably be still in CIS, and when I come here and visit her, I really hope that she doesn't have to face any of the like issues that like I think most of us would have faced. So that would be my objective.
For me, it's male participation. I think International Women's Day should be celebrated with as much gusto as Lunar New Year, as dragon racing and stuff like that. I think that a lot of the time, in 5 years, I just hope that men will hopefully stop seeing celebrating International Women's Day as something that is diametrically opposed to them. Like Ms. Uttam said, liberation is for all of us. So when they can feel like celebrating us with us so that we can celebrate as a whole, I think that's when we've gotten a lot closer to gender equity.
I would say I just want to see kind of the removing of labeling to the point that, for example, if you see a boy on a ballet or gymnastics team and then a girl on a math team, you don't even have to say, oh, this was like an effort to promote gender equity. It reminds me also of a recent, I was at an event and it was a female engineer. She was on stage receiving an award, and she said, I want to be here on stage one day and for me to receive an award for being an engineer, and remove the entire labeling of the word female.
I was thinking about authentic learning experiences. I think also if we as educators feel comfortable to have these authentic discussions in class when issues arise, I feel very comfortable doing that, but how many people amongst our staff feel comfortable? For me, it's very normal to say to a group of year 11 or 12 students, when we're talking about tampon taxes, right? So we're talking about menstruation products, like why does this exist and who came up with this policy? But then also if you say to the group, even amongst the girls, like, have you ever seen a tampon? You know, and how does it work? And then that's an authentic moment for me to step in, and I think I would wish in 5 years' time that more educators feel comfortable to use these authentic learning moments to also just, it's a safe space, you can ask questions, and it becomes normal to have these discussions rather than creating a taboo or keeping the taboo alive.
Dear CIS community, we are extremely grateful to you for your kind attention to this CIS Roundtable, and we hope that you will leave it feeling empowered and moved to make a difference in support of the cause of gender equity at CIS and beyond. We are particularly appreciative and thankful for our different participants for their incisive and inspiring contributions. Thank you, thank you, thank you.